Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at Grow Folds, and today we'll be big box store plant shopping at the Lowe's off of Preston Road in Frisco, Texas. As always, please make sure you are hitting the like button for this video, as well as following me on Instagram at Grow Folds. Today is a beautiful late afternoon visit to this Lowe's. I often go to this Lowe's just because, again, I like to check to see if there are any more houseplants. You can see that Halloween is just around the corner. Summer is still in full effect, and I have been visiting a lot of big box stores just to see if they've actually downsized on plants or have gotten restocked. So I've actually went to another Lowe's up in North McKinney, Texas. And for my plant foldies, those that are new to my channel, I call my viewers and subscribers plant foldies. Welcome. I have lucked out by seeing a bunch of new trending tropical plants and plants from Costa Farms, and it looks like right off the bat, this Lowe's has been restocked with a lot of plants. You can see right here, Live Trends always has some seasonally relevant plants. Like you can see right here, these are some Halloween inspired like skeleton type planters. $7.89 for this right here, and they have a bunch of these air plants. Now, what I like about Live Trends is Live Trends plants always has the most stylish, most modern looking planters. I find them brilliant in the fact that every time there is a season, they always have some really cool planters. Like they look like these skulls look like they're doing some type of yoga poses. Now, plant foldies, let me know in the comments if you find this interesting or scary or both. I'd like to know. And again, to all of the viewers and subscribers, thank you so much for helping me reach 10,000 YouTube subscribers yesterday. It was a huge milestone, and I'll tell you, the only reason why I have gotten this far is because of you. You continue to make it to the live premiere chats. Y'all continue to hit the like button, to comment, to share my videos, and to watch all of my videos all the way through. I never expected to get 10,000 subscribers this fast or ever, really, because I started this plant content just because I wanted to talk about plants for at least an hour. I find that doing big box or plant shopping videos, or just plants in general, where I get to chat and talk about my thoughts, has really been awesome. So thank you for helping me reach 10,000 subscribers. And you can see right here, plant foldies, they've got some Halloween theme planters. This one is a super cute one. I think out of all of the planters, I like the kitty cat one. Here is a black cat planter right here. I really like that a lot. It's actually more on the cute side for Live Trends, and you can see all of the plants that are sitting on the kitties are actually Haworthias. And again, Haworthias are succulents that actually can tolerate lower light conditions. And then I talked about Costa Farms plants. They've gotten quite a bit of new plants hitting the market, at least in the North Dallas area. I am based out in North Dallas, and that's the reason why I like going to a lot of these big box stores in this area. Typically in Frisco, McKinney, Prosper, Allen, those areas is really where I cycle through all of these big box stores. But you can see right there, we have a beautiful Croton Petra, and I know that either you love crotons or hate crotons. I happen to love them because they have some beautiful colorful foliage. And then over here we have some self-watering planters by Costa Farm. These are for $15.98, and this is a Ficus lyrata or fiddle fig leaf. What I like about the fiddle fig leaf is obviously just the large leaves it gets in its native habitats, such as the Philippines. That's actually where my family is originally from. They can get up to 20 to 30 feet tall as a full blown tree in full sun. So again, plant foldies, I've talked about it in all of my videos. All of these house plants or tropical plants that we see at a big box store, they come from a different source, and that's typically from a Southeast Asian country or some tropical humid environment. And so you can see that these plants can actually grow the full potential if you are able to closely provide their natural habitat. Now, obviously, high humidity, light, and all of that may not always be possible for everybody, just because that would be more so of like a greenhouse type of situation. But if you're able to get as close to their natural environment, the plant tends to not need as much plant care. Now that one right there, the ZZ plant, doesn't need as much care just because it is drought tolerant and low light tolerant. But you can see right here, I can't really pronounce the name of this particular plant. I'm gonna go by the Costa Farms name, which is Green Shields. Beautiful plant in a self-watering planter. I actually want to get one of these. I saw one at another Lowe's that I featured, and you know, it is for, I believe, $19.89, so it's not a bad price at all. But with PlantCon 2024 around the corner, I'm really just trying to save all the money I have so I can actually purchase some of these rare and uncommon plants at the PlantCon convention. And for all of the plant foldies visiting PlantCon, I really hope to meet you guys in person. We're hoping to do a meetup around PETA's Planters booth at PlantCon 2024 in Dallas around 11 o'clock. I will be wearing a Grow Folds t-shirt, so you'll easily be able to spot me. And so I look forward to meeting y'all. And if you are interested in a Grow Folds t-shirt, please send an Instagram message so that way I can get your size. I have 4 different colors. They are retailing at $20 just because of the production cost. But I hope you guys would be able to buy one of those t-shirts to support the channel and just show that you are a plant foldie. As you can see here, we do have some more beautiful self-watering planters. This one is a common but reliable plant. This is called an Aglaonema red Siam, and I love Aglaonema red Siam because it is an easy to care for plant. Actually, all Aglaonemas tend to be on the easier side, and this is super exciting plant foldies. This one is a trending tropicals plant. This one is an Aglaonema pink Siam, so it looks like an Aglaonema red Siam, but the difference is obviously it has pink borders, it's got pink stems. I've had this one for quite a while, and actually if you give it quite a bit of light, the leaves tend to end up being a little bit more pink in general. And I need to show you guys that whenever I do my houseplant tour. But I love Aglaonema pink Siam. You can see this is the Aglaonema red Siam right here, 1998 in a self-watering planter. And the thing about Aglaonema is they are marketed as a lower light tolerant plant. It is, but honestly, you need to go ahead and give it bright indirect light if possible. Grow it under a grow light if possible, just because you will get the best coloration for it. What I do like about Aglaonemas is they are a little bit more drought tolerant. But I'm going to pan over here and just show you how full this Lowe's is. I love the fact that Costa Farms is starting to release some more trending tropicals restock. So you can see right over here, plant foldies. We've got a beautiful philodendron pink princess. I love the variegation on this one specifically. And then this one is also for $19.98. Beautiful variegation. It looks like there are 2 plants here. And what I like about the philodendron pink princess from Costa Farms is there is a very distinct look about them. They've got those nice green foliage. It's not necessarily a dark foliage plant. I love the pink variegation. I will say not all of the philodendron pink princess are created equal. And when it comes down to a philodendron pink princess, you want to make sure that you're finding one with high variegation. Like this one has okay variegation, because the actual variegation on a philodendron pink princess is not necessarily stable. I would say that the initial genetics of a philodendron pink princess is what really dictates the variegation. You can give it a little bit more bright light, maybe to promote a little bit of it, but in terms of actually getting the variegation to push out, it wouldn't necessarily do too much for that particular philodendron. Now for $19.98, this is a Scindapsus trubii Moonlight. I do love the look of this Scindapsus. It's got a nice like aquamarine green tone about it. I also like that that subtle veining on the middle part of the leaf. This is a slower growing plant. It's similar to an Epipremnum aureum or Pothos plant, but it's not as quickly, it doesn't grow as quickly as a Pothos plant. But I do love the fact that they are in self-watering planters. You know, with trending tropicals by Costa Farms, the good thing about it is you always will see a restock of plants. Now, as far as Scindapsus trubii Moonlight, I mean, you will see this pretty much in season. Sometimes the Aglaonema, sometimes the philodendron pink princess are not always available, but you will definitely see that. Also, Rhaphidophora tetrasperma. This is another trending tropical by Costa Farms. This is again for $19.98. I haven't been able to grow a Rhaphidophora tetrasperma long term. I mean, it is considered an easy to care for plant. Now, I will say the natural growth habit of this particular plant needs to be climbing. It's not a plant that you can literally have grow as a hanging basket. The stems will actually refuse to actually trail down. It really wants to push itself up. But as you can see here, this is a pretty full Lowe's location, and so maybe a bunch of the Lowe's locations in the Dallas-Fort Worth area is just getting a bunch of restocks. I'm glad that Costa Farms is pushing a bunch of plants. I mean, you can see over here, there's just quite a bit. This table is pretty much Costa Farms with a little bit of live trends plants. Like over here, this is a beautiful high variegation of a Dieffenbachia maculata. This one is in a larger planter here, and you can see that it's a really healthy looking plant. This one is for $22.98 by Costa Farms. Now with Dieffenbachia plant foliage, you do need to provide it with quite a bit of bright indirect light. It is a little bit more spider mite prone, so just make sure that you're staying on top of your pest control. And then here's a beautiful Croton Petra for $19.98. And I like these specific Croton Petras because this one tends to have more of a yellow leaf color. Look at how beautiful it is. I do notice that a lot of crotons start to pop up around the fall season. So, you know, it is late summer heading into fall, and you'll see a lot of people decorating their patios with croton plants. They do have like more of a fall vibe to them. I love croton plants. And, you know, this is a plant though that I would say most people either love it or hate it. I absolutely love them, especially when I saw them growing as full-grown trees in a tropical country like the Philippines. You know, my family is originally from the Philippines, and I've seen these just thrive outdoors, and they were in full sun and they were living their best life. Now over here is another type of Dracaena here. This is a larger form Dracaena. I do like that this Dracaena has these green stripes on it. It's beautiful. It is only for $22.98. It does say bright light, but this particular Dracaena, or just Dracaenas in general, typically can tolerate lower light conditions. There are a few plants, you know, Dracaenas that may need a little bit more bright light. In general though, even though a plant can tolerate lower light conditions, I've said this in all of my videos, you want to give the best lighting conditions for a plant. So if you can keep the plant from being in a lower light condition, go ahead and provide it better lighting. You will get better growth, you will get better variegation, you'll get better coloration. It'll be a stronger plant in the long run. Over here is a Pachira aquatica, and you know, Pachira aquaticas are a common plant. You know, some people will call this plant a lucky tree plant. I do like the look of Pachira aquatica. One of my wish list plants is to find a variegated Pachira aquatica. Now this one right here is only for $35.98, and this is the braided form of a Pachira aquatica. I do like Pachira aquatica, or the money tree plant. It's just a plant that does need bright indirect light. It can be spider mite prone, so you want to try to make sure you stay on top of the pest preventatives. I always say if you have some type of neem oil spray, or if you water the plant by using your shower head or something that will get all of the leaves wet, that can wash away a lot of these pests. But look at how beautiful the leaf shape is. Look at how lush and full this Pachira aquatica is. And that's what makes like big box store plant shopping fun for me, especially when you get lucky like myself, where you find a restock of plants. There are quite a bit of plants to pick from. Most of them are actually Costa Farms. You know, I mentioned this in some of my other videos, but one of my dreams is to actually be able to visit the Costa Farms you know, or nurseries out in Florida. That would be so cool to just see their production and just see their plants in general. I've seen a few YouTubers actually get a chance to do that, so we'll see. But anyways, here is another Costa Farms plant. This is a Dracaena Massangiana. or the cane Dracaena. This is another plant that most people will use as like an interior design plant. It is a common plant that you will find in like businesses, like a corporate type setting. I wouldn't mind adding that to my houseplant collection. I just don't see a lot of people really adding Dracaenas to their houseplant collection. You know, most people will tend to go for the aeroids like the philodendrons, syngoniums, those types of things, anthuriums, but I do like the Dracaena. Now over here is a Dutch staghorn fern, or platycerium. Really like this one as well. Now this is in an 8-inch hanging basket by Costa Farms for $20.98. This is what you call the exotic angels hanging basket. I do prefer the smaller 6.5-inch hanging baskets versus these larger ones. And over here we've got some type of Hydra helix. Everybody's favorite plant, foldy plant. This is an English ivy, or the correct way to say it is Hydra helix. For those that are new to this channel, I say Hydra helix intentionally because that's how I used to pronounce it. It was really a mispronunciation of Hydra helix. Thank you to the plant foldy for, you know, correcting me on that a little while back, but it kind of stuck around, and so I'm just gonna keep Hydra helix. Like, I like the sound of Hydra helix, and I am going to be designing a Grow Folds t-shirt that has Hydra helix. I think that is a staple, so stay tuned for that. Now, plant foldies, you can see right here, we do have some more self-watering planters of Aglaonema red Siam. I really like the look of that as well. This one is for $15.98. As I've mentioned this in all my videos that I've shown Aglaonema red Siam, if you are watching my videos, if you have rare plants, uncommon plants, or starting a plant collection, buy yourself an Aglaonema red Siam. It is an easy to care for plant. I do think that Aglaonemas in general are so underrated. And there's really not a lot of talk about Aglaonemas. I think more so Aglaonemas are a little bit more commonly discussed in like the other side of the world, like the Southeast Asian countries, but I think everybody should get into Aglaonemas. And then as you can see over here, plant foldies, this Lowe's location has quite a bit of plants. I'm going to look at some more of this hanging basket. So this one is actually on clearance. This is a glauca plant right here, so it's 50% off. Look at how tiny the leaves are. Now this plant, I don't know a lot about the care conditions, but what I can say is this plant probably needs to be watered a little bit more frequently than the typical house plant. So just make sure you do provide it with a lot of water, or enough water to where it doesn't just dry out completely. Please correct me if I'm wrong about the plant care tips, but I've been told that glauca need to be frequently watered. So that's, you know, some of my care tips for that. And then as you can see over here, again, plant foldies, we've got another Hydra helix, or another Hydra helix right over here. Now, this one, let's take a look at the plant ID. This is the Ingrid Liz Ivy. And what I like about it is the leaves are a little bit more sharp and narrow, and it has more of a silver variegation to it. I'm actually curious for Costa Farms to see how many different varieties of Hydra helix they have. There was a Lowe's further down south near Dallas that actually had a lot of different varieties of Hydra helix. If I didn't know that Hydra helix or English ivy was probably one of the more challenging plants to grow indoors, I probably would have collected all of them because there's so many different varieties. And I think that that's the disappointing part about it, is because I really do like English ivy. I like the leaf shape. They remind me of maples, and they have so many cool variegations of it. But unfortunately, when you grow them indoors, at least in my care, they always end up with spider mites, and they just don't do well for me. Now over here is another hanging basket. This one is a lemon button fern, and plant foldies, I see this particular fern quite often, and I'm just curious to see if anybody actually grows this. It looks like an easy to care for fern. I am a little bit weary about just taking care of fern because, as I've said in all of my other videos, I tend to be a plant parent that doesn't really water nearly as much as I should for plants. And that's partly because of the amount of time I have invested for my plants. I have a very demanding job, and I just have a lot of things going on, you know, balancing YouTube, and, you know, this is the same spiel, but when you have to film for about an hour, edit for another hour, wait for another hour, there's just a lot going on. And sometimes my plants, which should be the center of my attention, kind of take the back burner when it comes to something as basic as watering. Now over here is a rainbow moss. This one is for $20.98. Now this is definitely a plant I cannot put in my plant collection because it needs to be consistently watered. It needs to stay moist and wet. And unfortunately, that is not the environment that I can provide for this particular plant. Now this one right here is another plant I need to add to my collection at some point. This is a strawberry begonia. And what I like about the strawberry begonia is there is a variegated variety, but even this variety right over here is quite easy to take care of. It does need to be watered a little bit more frequently, but it is a plant that shoots out a lot of little babies. It's similar to what I would say like a spider plant, where it shoots out a lot of babies that you can chop and propagate. I really love that plant as well. It's got a nice silver foliage about it. And then we have even more Costa Farms plants. So here is an Trending Tropicals Epipremnum aureum lemon meringue pothos, and this is also for $19.98. Now with lemon meringue pothos, this is more of a mutation from the global green pothos. You can tell that it is a lemon meringue pothos by two things. Number one, the yellow variegation on the green, and number two, the leaves tend to be a little bit smaller. It is one of the more slower growing pothos plants, but you can see here, this is a decent variegated lemon meringue pothos. If you do not provide it enough light, like bright indirect light, it will most likely be more of a green tone. You're definitely not going to see the yellow variegation. This is a plant, or an example of a plant, that relies on light to influence the type of variegation you get. More bright indirect light, better variegation. Less light, it's going to be more so green, or even can revert all the way back to green. So just make sure your lighting conditions are good for that. And then over here for $15.98 is a 6-inch self-watering planter of golden pothos. This one isn't as variegated as some of the golden pothos I've seen, but needless to say, this is the OG classic house plant. If you also don't have this in your collection, I would recommend adding it, because it's an easy plant. It's a plant that you can easily propagate and multiply, and it's just easy. Now over here again, we have a bunch of like Trending Tropicals Philodendron Pink Princess by Costa Farm. You can see that there is a half moon leaf just unfurling. It hasn't even fully hardened. The only thing I will say about Philodendron Pink Princess, in order to really differentiate the difference between a tissue cultured produced Philodendron Pink Princess and one that was propagated from a cutting from the original Philodendron Pink Princess, is the leaves. You can see these are most likely tissue cultured Philodendron Pink Princess, because the leaves are a little bit more narrow. Now, if you find a Philodendron Pink Princess that has darker foliage and rounder, larger leaves, that's most likely not going to be a tissue culture plant. Now, I don't really have issues with tissue culture. I think that's the reason why a lot of these plants are affordable. And for those that don't know what a tissue culture plant is, it's basically a plant that was scientifically created in a lab to be reproduced quickly. It's not one that where you would just take a cutting from a plant and propagate it. They literally can produce hundreds and thousands of these plants by through tissue culture. And that's the reason why we're seeing a lot of these plants in the market, especially these rare anthuriums, these rare philodendron, just all of these plants that used to be very unattainable. Now they've had a lot of mass production. I would say Philodendron Pink Princess is a prime example. I would say Philodendron Ring of Fire is a prime example. Philodendron White Princess. All of those plants that you see in these big box stores are most likely tissue culture. Just a little spiel about that, but you can see here plant foldies. I love seeing nice lush green plants like that. That's a fiddle fig leaf, or a ficus lyrata. And we're just going to spin around here and take a look at some more of these other plants. I will say thank you to everybody. Yesterday I celebrated 10,000 YouTube subscribers. So I started this journey about 9 months ago, if that, doing daily plant shopping videos, and our plant foldy community has really grown. So I wanted to take the time, plant foldies, to say thank you. We finally reached 10,000 subscribers, and it's because you literally tune in every evening to watch my live premieres. People chat on the live premieres. You guys hit the like button, and I always say, if you really want to support me, it only takes half a second to hit that like button for my videos. It really signifies to YouTube that there is engagement, which actually helps push the content out to more plant lovers like yourself, and then even people going in and leaving so many different comments for me to engage. So I wouldn't have been able to get 10,000 subscribers had you guys not stuck around with me. And for all of my new plant foldies, I hope you enjoy the content. I am going to be diversifying the content and really showing you more of my personal plants. I'm going to be doing a houseplant tour. I'm going to be doing some more blogs. I will be doing plant care tips. All of that is in store for sure. Now, plant foldies, as you can see right here, Costa Farms always produces these exotic angel planters. Now, these ones are the 5.5-inch planters. Like, this is a Sunny Star Croton for $7.98. I do love crotons. There's so many different varieties. The thing about crotons is they are very finicky plants, especially when they're smaller. Now, if they are in a tropical country like the Philippines, for instance, they literally don't even need any plant care. They can just grow outside on the side of the road, in the middle of a jungle, and they can grow up to like 10, 15 feet in height, and they have such beautiful coloration. For plant care tips, however, for a croton like this, you need to provide it with quite a bit of bright indirect light. It will not do well if it doesn't get enough light. Honestly, if you are able to grow them outdoors, even in full sun, they will do very well. They will size up. They'll be a lot happier. Now, crotons also do not want to be overwatered, but they also do not want to be underwatered. So what you need to do is just make sure you stay on top of the watering. If you have them growing outside, they're a little bit more forgiving with the watering. So literally you can water them every day, because plants that live outside typically dry out a lot faster than if you were to keep them indoors. And then over here, we've got a Syngonium Berry Illusion. That one is for $7.98 by Costa Farms again. And then you can see right over here, another croton plant. This one is a croton batik. Beautiful speckling on the leaves. This one's also for $7.98. I really want to grow crotons. Like, I want to have a croton collection. But at the moment, I have so many plants that I'm trying to stabilize and, actually keep things organized. But maybe next year I might delve into growing crotons. The only thing about crotons is, especially since I want to grow them outdoors, it is going to be a bit of a challenge to grow them or overwinter them, because they definitely need to go inside. That's one thing I will say about crotons. Like, this one right here is a croton petra. This one's $7.98. Crotons do not tolerate conditions where it can get cold very quickly. Once they get a cold spill, they will definitely drop their leaves. Now, they can recover and grow back leaves, but they definitely don't like colder weather. And that's the thing about my grow zone, which is 8B. I am based out in North Dallas. You have to be really mindful about your temperature for that particular plant. It is a tropical plant. And then over here, another tropical plant. This is a Syngonium Maria. $7 and is it $7.90? Yeah, $7.98. What I like about Syngonium Maria is it's a dark foliage type Syngonium. The thing about Syngonium Maria is, if you really want to see the darker foliage, like the deep brown chocolate look about it, you want to provide it with quite a bit of light. What's interesting is the coloration is actually influenced by the amount of light you give the Syngonium Maria. Now, over here is another easy to care for plant, $7.98, and this is called a Dracaena Dorado. Now, Dracaena Dorado doesn't have nearly as compact of a growth habit as some of the other Dracaenas. Dracaenas are also known as a dragon tree plant. There's many varieties, but this particular one can grow up to 4 to 5 feet in height. So it is a plant that is low light tolerant, and in the keyword plant foldies is it is low light tolerant. So if you're able to give it better lighting, again, you want to make sure you're giving it better lighting. But I did want to revisit this again. I love Syngoniums, and I'm glad that some of my Syngoniums that I have truly neglected are starting to bounce back. I took them outside, and that's the thing, plant foldies. If you ever have a plant that has been treated for pests, if you ever had a plant that you chopped up because it got leggy, or just a plant that's just struggling to push out new growth, trust and believe take it outside, put it in a shaded area that gets light, and it will grow. It just will grow a lot easier. It will rehabilitate itself. It has always happened for me. I literally had a couple of plants on the brink of death, and you give it about a month outside and it doesn't even look like there was any issues with the plant. I've been doing it a lot with some of my fussier, what is it, alocasia, and my alocasias are doing fine. They're actually growing at a faster pace. But you can see here, I mean, this Syngonium Maria, I mean, I don't know if I should buy it. Now, if it was like half off, I would buy that in a heartbeat. I don't feel like $7.98 is really in my budget to purchase a Syngonium, because plant foldies, you already know, we've been talking about this. I am so excited to go to PlantCon 2024 in Dallas, August 31st, September 1st, to meet everybody. And I have been saving every penny I can possibly save to buy all of these really cool plants. I look forward to meeting all of the plant foldies. We're hoping to do a plant foldie meetup around 11 at Peta's Planters. Obviously, plant foldies, if you can't make it at that time, send me a message on Instagram. I'll try to meet up with you, because I'll pretty much be at PlantCon all day. I plan on filming a bunch of plants, charging my iPhone to make sure I have battery, you know, putting some of my plant content that I film onto my iPad. That way I can have hours and hours of PlantCon videos. And you can see right here, plant foldies. There's just so many hanging baskets of Costa Farms Exotic Angels. This one is a lipstick plant. This one is for $20.98. And, you know, as far as hanging baskets, I really want to be able to grow hanging baskets. I'm actually curious, plant foldies, if you grow a lot of hanging baskets, and if so, what type of plants do you grow in hanging baskets? What is your care tips for that? Because you can see right here, this is another beautiful Hydra Helix. I love me some Hydra Helix. Look at how beautiful this Hedera Helix, that's the correct way to say it, $20.98. And you can see that this one is actually super healthy. There are some new growth, you know, some new leaves coming out of it. And that's the thing, it's so deceiving because it looks like a hardy plant, but that is a plant that if you don't give it enough bright light, if you don't water it consistently, if you just don't give it the right outdoor environment conditions, it will just not do well. Now over here is a Polynesian ivy, and actually I think this is such a cool looking plant. What I like about it is obviously it's got a dark foliage about it, but it has the potential to be easily propagate it. You can just take cuttings, stick it in water, and it should root fairly easily. I do like the rubbery texture about it. It looks like the leaves are a little bit more durable. This is a plant that I may eventually add to my plant collection. For now, it's just one plant that I'm going to admire from afar. You know, there's a lot of plants from Costa Farms that they constantly release that makes me want to purchase them. There are a few plants though that I am going to give up on trying to grow in my indoor space. One of them would be a Balferiana Aralia, or a variegated Aralia. I am on number 4 and it's just not doing well for me. Now, this one is a plant that like I should have given up on number 14 because I've you know, sent 14 of these Hydra Helix to Plant Heaven, but I don't know, there's something about it. Am I the only one that likes English ivy, or am I just crazy in a sense that that's just an obsession I have with the English ivy? But it's so beautiful. Like, I love the leaves. I feel like when you think of a house plant, you think about an English ivy, or at least growing up, people grew English ivies and it was not a thing. Like, I don't know if it just has become spider mite prone over the years, but that's just a plant, gosh, I wish I could grow. Now, plant foldies, this is an easy to care for plant. This is a Syngonium white butterfly. This is for $5.98. The thing about Syngonium, so we're going to talk a little bit more about Syngoniums. They are a plant that can get leggy. They prefer to actually climb. So you can see that it's got a little bit of a clump. What I would suggest is once the Syngonium starts to want to climb, if you want it to be more of a full plant, I would take cuttings, water propagate it, get like an inch or two of water propagated roots and stick it back into the mother plant, and it will just be a little bit more full. Now over here, look at this. This is another croton, and this croton right here is already root bound. You can see that the roots are just popping out. I am curious if anybody has ever grown crotons in semi-hydroponics. Like, have you grown it in like leca or pond, or have you just taken a croton plant and grown it in like straight hydroponics, just straight water? really curious, and plant foldies, if you do or are considering it, please leave your thoughts in the comments. Again, plant foldies, I am all about just really trying to understand what type of plants you guys have, what kind of plants you like, how is your collection doing? So please leave as many comments about that. Now, as you can see right here, we've got a parlor palm, and this is actually pretty cute. This one is also for $5.98. And that's the thing, plant foldies at a big box store. And that's the reason why I love going to big box stores, especially big box stores with healthy plants from Costa Farms when they do a restock, because it's so tempting to want to purchase everything. Like this one right here is a purple waffle plant. Love the dark foliage. I love the purple undersides. The problem is this plant needs a lot of water. It also prefers higher humidity. These are two things that I can't naturally get in my home. Like it would just be a little bit more effort. Like obviously I can buy a humidifier, stick it next to it, water it, and it should be fine. But that's even more effort than I want to put. And then over here, $12.98, another beautiful Dieffenbachia. And when I say that I have a newfound love for Dieffenbachia, I just know that they can become massive, large plants, but they're absolutely beautiful. And really, I feel like Dieffenbachia, when you provide it with higher humidity and brighter light, they do very well. I've seen so many large ones in the Philippines. So plant foldies, if you actually haven't seen my Philippines plant video, please check out my playlist of Philippines plants under plant tourism. You can binge it. I would love for you to do that. And that's the thing, plant foldies. The reason why I do some of these 1 hour plant shopping videos is I love to talk. I love to ramble on about plants. And if you ever feel lonely or if you need some type of company, go ahead and binge my videos. Rewatch some of my plant marathon compilations. They're like 3 hours long. If you're doing your plant chores and you just need somebody to talk about plants to get you through your plant chores, definitely watch my videos. And I've been told that people actually have done that. I appreciate that. Your viewership not only helps my channel grow, but it also helps my plant budget grow, because through some of y'all's support, your viewership, I've been able to get some more plant supplies. I've been able to get some more plant sponsorships, all of that. And it's because you guys watch my videos. So again, thank you, plant foldies. 10,000 subscribers. I'm hoping we can get another 10,000 subscribers in the next half a year, but that really lies upon whether you continue to watch my videos all the way through. If you have social media, please share that with your friends that love plants. But again, going back to the plants here, the thing about going to this Home Depot for me, which is off of Preston Road in Frisco, Texas. So if you're ever in that area, definitely check it out. This is one of the better Lowe's locations. Like this one right here is an interesting 6.5-inch planter hanging basket of Chester fern, $16.98. But this Lowe's has always been consistent in terms of just how many plants they have. Sometimes this Lowe's actually has so many plants that they've actually had to have like pallets and pallets of plants. I also like the fact that they keep their plants super healthy. Every time I go out to the outdoor section, for instance, they are consistently watering them. Even when I pick up some of these hanging basket plants, you can tell that they were just recently watered because they're a little bit heavy. Like this one right here, as many times as I wanted to buy this teddy bear vine, for instance, I just know that it's not in my budget at that moment to purchase it, but it is another beautiful plant that eventually I will grow. Because at the end of the day, teddy bear vine, that is a common plant. So don't feel pressure to purchase a plant. Now, I will say certain plants, I definitely feel like I regret not purchasing, but like teddy bear vine, that's something you can find. Now over here for $30.98 are bonsai plants from Costa Farms. The only thing I will say about Costa Farms bonsai plants is I feel like they're more what you call pre-bonsai. And what I mean by pre-bonsai is it's basically a plant that you can potentially trim and shape into a beautiful miniature tree. There's just not enough shape for me. And also the planters, when you think about bonsai, they need to be more of a shallow container. Needless to say, I'm still thankful that Costa Farms has delved into so many other plant species besides like tropical aroids. They also get into succulents and cactus. They also have gone and done bonsai. So I love that. Now over here is a plant that I would also buy, and this is actually the size I would like to buy it, is a 6.5-inch planter, prayer plant or a marantha. This one is for $16.98. Now, if this was only $8, I would buy this one in a heartbeat. The thing about prayer plants or marantha is they can be a little bit finicky. You want to make sure that you keep their soil moist. They prefer to have higher humidity. And then over here, this is another hanging basket of Syngonium. I believe this is either a Syngonium white butterfly or potentially a Syngonium holly. The more bright light you provide it, the better coloration this particular Syngonium is going to get. I have been super excited in the fact that a lot of my Syngoniums that I have started watering consistently in the shower have pushed out a lot of growth. My Syngoniums actually sit in front of my master bedroom window facing the west facing window, so they get a lot of light, but their leaves are doing very well. They're not getting scorched or burned. Now over here is a Fittonia, a pink Fittonia of some sort. This one's actually in bloom. This one is for $16.98. And what's interesting about this Fittonia is obviously it is happy because it is blooming. And that's the thing about a lot of these plants. Whenever you see a tropical plant or a plant in bloom, it means that it's gotten mature or it has the right growing conditions to where it feels like it can reproduce itself. The downside is whenever you grow a plant that has flowers, like specifically like Aglaonema, you don't want to keep the blooms on the plant because the plant will spend more energy actually growing the blooms versus the foliage. Now over here though, for this anthurium, this blooming anthurium for $13.98, you can keep the blooms on there because for some reason that particular anthurium will still produce a lot of foliage. And then I wanted to show you this. These are several different types of bromeliads by Costa Farms, and you can see right here, this is for $13.98. I like this one right here. Look at how beautiful that pink variegation is on this particular bromeliad. Again, plant foldies, $13.98. And this is the reason why I would dub Costa Farms as one of the premier plant nurseries to really source out big box store plants. We should be super thankful that they have been able to get a lot of these exotic plants at affordable prices. Like, I mean, you can see right here, there's another version of another bromeliad. So, bromeliads, I haven't been as big of a fan when I first started doing plant shopping videos, but again, plant foldies, you can see that bromeliads come in different colors, and I just love that they have different growth patterns as well. Like this was the one I have in my plant collection for $13.98. It's got a really nice like purple pattern on the green. And the thing about bromeliads is they're fairly easy to take care of. I know that you want to keep them watered consistently, but they can tolerate not being watered as frequently, which on my care tips or my care that I give my plants, that actually works well for what I do with my plants. And then you can see right over here, this isn't a terracotta planter. This is another type of bromeliad. It doesn't look nearly as lush or healthy as some of the ones from Costa Farms. And then we talk about another plant supplier for a lot of big box stores. Urban Jungle has really stepped it up in terms of their plants and the new planters. Like this right here is a philodendron moonlight, and this one is for $22.98. I really like the very beige, natural looking planter. And obviously this is a beautiful plant. I love neon colored plants. I love yellow plants. I love that aurea look about it. And I like philodendron that are more clumping. So this particular philodendron doesn't necessarily need to climb up a totem pole or a moss pole. It becomes it gets larger leaves just because it likes to clump. Now this one is for, I believe, $22.98. The thing about it is I want to buy the one from Green Acres Nursery out in Melissa, Texas, because it was probably 4 times larger than that for $50. So sometimes you want to spend money on a plant that is already large just for the instant gratification. Now, some people will buy plants. I'm the same way, where I will pick up a plant that's small and just grow it out. I think that's the reason why we grow plants, right? Is to grow them out. But sometimes for like aesthetics, interior design, or just instant gratification, we just end up splurging a little bit more money on just buying a large plant. And you can see that is a calathea. And then over here again is some type of anthurium. This might be an anthurium sebum. Beautiful plant. This one is by Urban Jungle. I've also seen this in a self-watering planter by Live Trends. I do like the inundation of the Urban Jungle letters there. I really like that a lot. You know, with Urban Jungle, I wouldn't say that their planters are as stylish as Live Trends, but they're kind of in the middle of like Costa Farms and Live Trends. Like I feel like Costa Farms definitely has more plants to pick from. I feel like there's more variety and the plant pricing is great. But Urban Jungle is a really nice plant provider as well. Like you can see right here for $22.98. This is a Homelamina, and I said it correctly, Homelamina Shelby. I do like the velvety texture of the leaves. It almost reminds me of a Dieffenbachia, to be honest. This is a plant, however, from all the Homelamenas to be a little bit more finicky. If you can provide it with a little bit more humidity, you want to make sure that you're consistently watering it. It'll give you that beautiful coloration on the leaves. Like it's got a minty green, a lime green tone about it, and it's velvety. What else do we have here? We have another Urban Jungle plant. This one is a juvenile Monstera deliciosa. So Monstera deliciosas are a staple for a plant collection. Just remember, these plants can get very massive in like a year or two. So you want to pre-plan whether you're going to have the space for a Monstera deliciosa. I do like the juvenile leaves on a Monstera deliciosa. I just wish it wouldn't fenestrate sometimes and just give you that heart-shaped leaf. But as I pan away here, plant foldies, what do you think about the Urban Jungle plants? I mean, I just love them. And then here's another one right here, $22.98. This is just an Aglonema red Siam. You really need to buy this plant foldies. Let me know if you have. Let me know if a plant influenced you, because it is a plant. I just feel like Aglonemas, guys, plant foldies. We need to just get more awareness about Aglonemas. Now over here is a Thenanthe plant right here. I actually got one also at Lowe's for 50% off, and it's doing very well. For a Thenanthe, it actually tolerates a little bit of underwatering, which is cool because mostly you want to keep the soil wet. Now this Alpina plant, I think that's what it's called. I do find this interesting. I did get it, but this is another plant that I thought was drought tolerant. It is not. You want to make sure that you water it consistently, because if you don't, the tips would get brown, and it's not as hardy of a plant as I thought it would be. Now, it's still a beautiful plant. It's a plant that maybe I may potentially add to my plant collection, but it's one of those that I just kind of hold off on. I don't feel bad though when I bought it, because I ended up getting it for 99 cents. Same size plant actually, but I bought it at a local grocery store called Sprouts. And that's the thing, plant foldies, especially at grocery stores, you can find some very inexpensive plants because grocery stores will literally mark them down to liquidate them and just get them out of their system. Now over here is another type of Anthurium. Not sure if this is a Sebrum as well, but look at how cool the texture of the leaves are. Now these ones are by Live Trends. You can see that it's a Live Trends planter. It is a self-watering planter. It has the quintessential fake moss that Live Trends uses for the top dressing. I'm not necessarily a fan of it. I wish they would like use maybe orchid bark or something of that nature, but you know, to each its own. And then over here is another Live Trends plant. This one is some type of Alocasia. It has some yellowing on it, so I'm not sure if it has a plant pest like spider mites or thrifts, but that's something you want to keep an eye out whenever you're doing big box store plant shopping. You want to make sure that you inspect the undersides of the leaves, the stems, the nodes, the surface of the soil, the bottom of the drainage holes, to see if you see anything that doesn't seem, or at least has hints of a plant pest. I mean, over here, this Dracaena looks perfectly healthy. Really like that a lot. It is in a self-watering planter. Now, these ones are only for $14.98. This one is a smaller Philodendron Moonlight, so you can see that you can pick up a smaller variety, but for me, I just want to get a large Philodendron Moonlight. $50 at Green Acres Nursery and Supply. And Plant Foldies, if you haven't seen that video, I just recently premiered it. It has some beautiful plants, rare and uncommon plants for a very good price. So I'm debating actually Plant Foldies, $16.98 for this Syngonium. There's so many Syngonium syngonium plants in this one. Look at how lush and full it is. I do like the green variegation, and its leaves are actually a little bit more miniature. It's not as large, and so I like the texture of that, because with syngoniums, they can actually get fairly large leaves, and I like the fact that this is super clumpy and there's just a lot of foliage around it. I just don't know if I really want to spend $16.98. But it is one that if I were to pick any plant today so far, I would buy this. Now, plant foldies, let me know in the comments if you would have bought this syngonium or if you wouldn't have bought this syngonium. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And let's just keep looking at these plants right over here. So we've got some Australian fern, kangaroo fern, and then we have this right here, another Live Trends Calathea, $14.98. This is a Rospicta. Mine is about to make it to plant heaven. Even though it is growing hydroponically, I thought I found a hack to grow Calatheas, but alas, they still get spider mites. So here is a really cool supply of your perfect study buddy. These are so cool. I thought these were Live Trends planters, but these are actually from Costa Farms. These are really cute. So they've got a planter that has a study buddy, and these are featuring succulent plants. These are for $7.98, super cute. And you know, with back to school, back to college season in August, just this month, there are many people, many kids, many college students that might need a piece of greenery to add to their desks, their offices, just anywhere that you would need a plant. And I would think that this is a perfect study buddy. $7.98, super cute. The only thing is, like this Echeveria right here, I'm actually proud of myself. I'm starting to be able to identify succulent plants. You want to make sure that you are providing you with quite a lot of bright light for them to really be sustainable, unless it is a Horthia. Now, here are some more Costa Farm plants. I do like the planters of this. I wish that there wasn't any texture on the planters. Like this one is a Belgian waffle plant for $9.98. That's actually not a bad price at all, considering you do get a stylish planter. Costa Farms is continuing to elevate their plants, not only their plants and the diversity of plants they offer at a big box store, but also their planters. I just hope and wish that Costa Farms will also look at some of the more minimalistic options for planters. I know that the new trending tropicals self-watering planters are literally matte finishes with no texture, and that is what I love. Now over here is a Epipremnum aureum, golden pothos. I do like the terracotta look or the color of it. This one is highly variegated. It's also for $9.98. And then you can see right here, Dracaena White Jewel. So this is actually one that I would also potentially buy from this big box store right here. Look at how beautiful that variegation is for a Dracaena. And again, this is a Dracaena that can grow at a moderate pace. It is a plant that doesn't grow as quickly, but it's an easy to care for plant. And you can see right here, this is another type of Hydra Helix, or another English ivy. Look at this one. This one is interesting because it's actually got more narrow leaves, and that one is for $9.98. And I actually find this croton super beautiful. This is a Mamai croton for $9.98. It looks like it's on fire. The leaves look like it's flames. What a cool looking plant. And I don't know, all of these plants that Costa Farms just releases in these little shippers, I love. Like this one right here is a batik croton plant for $9.98. And as far as the color of the planter, that navy blue, very classy, very stylish, very elegant, very much a cool look for Costa Farms. And Costa Farms, I would just say anybody who ever watches it that works for Costa Farms, I really want to commend you guys for just continuing to give us plant lovers all of these available plants to pick up. Like this one right here is a Spathiphyllum or peace lily. Very easy plant to take care of, super low light tolerant. The only thing is it needs a lot of water. So it's one of those plants that are super dramatic, but as you can see right here, you can create your green space with Costa Farms. Those are actually making their way to a lot of these big box stores. I would say mostly Lowe's. And you know, if I had to pick between Lowe's, Walmart, and Home Depot, I would say Lowe's for the most most part tends to have the most diversity when it comes to just Costa Farms plant, live transplanters, and urban jungle. But I will shop all big box stores for certain plants. I mean, you can see here, we even have some of these syngoniums. These ones are by Live Trends again. This one is just some type of pink syngonium. Now with the pink varieties of syngoniums, if you provide it with more bright light, they tend to have better coloration of pink. I am a sucker for pink plants. I love pink. You know, somebody's mentioned to me before that pink might be my favorite color. It could be, but it really just varies. I just like all the colors, but when it comes to plants, I prefer pink plants, dark foliage plants, and neon colored plants. Now this is for $18.98, and this is what you would call a hydroponic setup for a Dracaena Janacrae compacta. I think it's more of a water propagation if you ask me. And then you can see right over here we have a beautiful Epiprimnum neon pothos by Live Trends. So this is a new planter that they have featured. Look at how beautiful the neon colors are on this pothos plant. It's hard for me to say if this is my favorite pothos. I really like all pothos, but look at how that light hits it. The more light you give that pothos plant, the better neon coloration they'll give. And then over here is another Live Trends hanging basket. This one is for $26.98. It's a newer one. This one is a Monstera adansonii, and I like Monstera adansonii. I just haven't been able to grow them consistently. I recently was able to get a Monstera adansonii variegated tricolor Japanese version from Fitzgerald Tropicals. They are a local grower out in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So thankful they gifted me one. But I'm also excited to announce that I will be getting a Aurea version of a Monstera adansonii. So think of a neon pothos, but a Monstera or adansonii. So that's really cool. I will be getting that in the mail soon. And then over here, plant foldies. I'm just gonna look at some of these 6.5-inch hanging baskets. I can't really reach them, but this one right here is an Epiprimnum pearls and jade pothos, $16.98. We've got a teddy bear vine. We've got a philodendron heteroraceum, just green form, another teddy bear vine, and then we have some more strawberry begonias kind of lurking around, and more teddy bear vines, and then some type of fern. We've got a Phalaenopsis orchid bloom here. I will say a lot of these Phalaenopsis orchids are not in bloom, so I'm just waiting to see once they get a restock of that. But I wouldn't mind purchasing some of these Phalaenopsis orchids when they're not in bloom if I can get a really good clearance price for them. I only have one Phalaenopsis orchid currently, and that is a variegated one. I'm waiting for it to rebloom. But plant foldies, as you can see right here, look at how super full this Lowe's is. I'm going to definitely go into detail a little bit more on some of these plants. I am excited to kind of see where we're at in terms of the other plants that we're going to get restocks on. I mean, you can see right here, this is a trending tropicals Epiprimnum alplicimum or silver streak pothos for $19.98. Look at the streaks on that pothos plant. Really nice color. Very happy that another plant foldie that I met in person, Gloria, thank you for getting me one of these. Just getting a propagation of it. And again, plant foldies, if you ever want to save money on plants, sometimes sharing cuttings with friends, plant propagation, plant trades, that is one way to grow your collection. Now, this is for $22.98. I've been seeing this a lot, plant foldies, at big box stores where you have a mixed planter of different types of tropical plants. How do you guys feel about it? Do you like it? I'm not as big of a fan for it because I feel like when you put a mixed planter of tropical plants, you have to be cognizant of like the actual plant care that each one has. You have to look at whether they need more light, whether they need more different watering conditions. Like this one right here is another one by Costa Farms, $24.98. So they've got a croton plant, a parlor palm. We've got a Schefflera plant, and then we also have a Marble Queen pothos and a Palea Dark Galaxy plant. So there's just a lot of different plants. It's a nice arrangement, but I just don't know if it's one that you'd be able to keep all of the plants alive, because you got to think they're also going to grow. So are they going to outgrow their mixed planter? But you know, some people want to give those as gifts. I would prefer, if you're going to buy me a gift though, plant foldies, I would love another Aglaonema like this. So this one, I don't know the specific Aglaonema name. This is for $19.98. Self-watering planter, tropical plant, This is a Trending Tropicals by Costa Farms, and you can see this one is in bloom, so I would definitely cut that bloom off so that this plant will grow more leaves. But look at how beautiful that red pink tone is. That's the thing though about Costa Farms aglaonemas. I wish they would give us the specific plant ID for that aglaonema. I hope that Costa Farms will actually have more aglaonemas as a Trending Tropicals. For a while I didn't really see a lot of restocks, so this might be their new batch where they just had a bunch available. Aglaonemas remains to be in my top 3 plants of what I want to grow in my plant collection, because they are fairly forgiving unless you just flat out neglect them for a month or so. That's what happened with my aglaonema. So if you refer back to a video where I imported a bunch of aglaonemas from Indonesia, I had some stunning super full aglaonemas. Well, you know, fast forward to 2024 July, August, where I literally didn't water them for either a month or 2, and yeah, that's just, you know, plant that they just didn't do well. There are some that I was able to salvage. I'm waiting to see if I can rehab them, but I've learned my lesson with aglaonemas, plant foldies. Even though they are drought tolerant, you still have to water them, and I have to laugh at myself, sort of. It's embarrassing to say, but I just don't water my plants as much as I need to, and that is the most basic function of, you know, taking care of house plants. But you can see this one right here again, another aglaonema. Look at how beautiful the light hits it and how beautiful the colors are. This one is also for $15.98. Aglaonema Red Siam. We've got a bunch of peace lilies here, or spathiphyllum, also from Costa Farms, $15.98. And then we also have this beautiful and common, or at least commonly found, Aglaonema Silver Bay. The thing about aglaonemas though is you do need to water them, but over watering them. So if you're an over water or somebody that wants to water your plants like every day, twice a day, do not get aglaonemas, because their roots will rot. When you touch the aglaonema's roots, actually it's more of like a succulent texture. They're very thick, and that's the reason why they can be a little bit more drought tolerant. Now, plant foldies, I will come back to the indoor tropical plants, but I did want to show you what happens when it's about to be fall. Look at these displays at a big box store. Absolutely love it. They got the hay, and then they also got fall plants that are typical that in the fall you will see a bunch of chrysanthemums. Although I am surprised, plant foldies, look at this. More desert rose are actually appearing at big box stores. So I thought it was just Home Depot. We now have them at Lowe's, and you know, with desert rose, I think they're stunning. I think that I want to buy some at PlantCon. I want to find a variegated version, but you can see this one right here. The caudex is actually spread. It's kind of like sitting there, and I think that's really cool. What I would do actually is maybe even put this in a shallow container. Now with desert rose, a couple of things you need to keep in mind. They need to be in full sun or get lots of light. They are a succulent plant, so you do not want to overwater them. That is the fastest way to kill them, is to overwater them, and they're very toxic. So in a sense that if you do cuttings or trim it, you want to make sure that the sap doesn't touch your hands, because it can irritate it. But to go on to these displays, you can see that mums or chrysanthemums are in stock, ready to go. And what's really cool is you can plant these in the landscape. They are perennials. They will come back year after year. And look at how beautiful these yellow ones are. These are for $7.98. They need to be in full sun, but they're also a very thirsty plant, so you want to make sure you are consistently watering them. Now, places like Japan, and I mentioned this before because I love Japanese culture. You know, the reason why I call my my YouTube channel Grow Folds is because the grow part is mostly my plant content. The fold is actually in reference to my origami. So if you actually go through my old videos, like way back into my channel, I have several playlists of how to fold an origami paper crane. Now, how does that tune into chrysanthemums? Well, in Japan, chrysanthemums are actually called kiku, and they actually have festivals, chrysanthemum festivals, where they literally will hybridize a chrysanthemum, and these chrysanthemums could be up to maybe 2 feet in diameter as far as the bloom. They get huge blooms. So really interesting. And that's the reason why I do make references to Japanese culture like bonsai, origami, cherry blossoms, sushi, all of that, because I love Japanese culture. That's also something I do. I also like anime. That's something I wanted to let my viewers know. I know it's probably silly, but you know, some of my favorite anime, and I'm super excited, would be Sailor Moon. I grew up watching that. My favorite Sailor character is actually Sailor Saturn. But anyways, plant foliage, before I start talking more about my personal, you know, interests, I did want to go back to the plants, but I felt that maybe you guys might want to know a little bit more about me. You can see lots of beautiful chrysanthemums. Like, I really like that orange right in the middle of it, and then they've got the yellow. The thing about buying chrysanthemums, I would buy chrysanthemums that have not all of the blooms blooming yet. You want to wait till, you know, to buy, you know, refrain from buying it, because then your blooms will last longer. It's the same thing with like Phalaenopsis orchids. Buy Phalaenopsis orchids where not all of the orchids have fully bloomed. You'll have a little bit longer time for it, versus like chrysanthemums too. Like, if you buy one that's already fully bloomed, you'll only have like maybe a week or two, and then the blooms will be spent. But plant foliage, we are back at it again, just looking at some more of these like indoor tropical plants. There are a couple more that I wanted to touch base on, but as you can see right here, this one is a live transplanter. I saw this about a week or two, so I'm glad that this plant is still healthy looking. This is an Alocasia pink dragon. You can see there are two corms or little babies that sprouted. This is a healthy plant. Now, this is for $22 or $24.98. I already have this Alocasia. It is a beautiful one. I mean, look at the veining of the leaves, the pink stems. And that's the thing about Alocasia's plant folies, is they do reproduce very quickly through corms. So that's something that you can share with others, is if you can get your Alocasias to produce babies, and you can separate it from the mother plant. $15.98. This is a self-watering planter of a fiddle fig leaf tree, or a Ficus lyrata. That's the smaller variety for $6 inches. And then over here is a larger Ficus lyrata or fiddle fig leaf. Now, these are all Costa Farms plants. This is for $24.98. That's actually not a bad price at all. And I remember that fiddle fig leaf used to be like the interior design, the it plant. Everybody had to have it in their homes. You know, they wanted a big fiddle fig leaf in their like high ceiling type home, you know, very minimalistic, modern contemporary interior design. But the thing about it is, Ficus lyrata or fiddle fig leaf is a challenging plant to grow indoors. They really do like higher humidity. They like light. In the Philippines, they can become as tall as 30 feet in height and grow in full sun. But indoors, they're very finicky, meaning if you put a Ficus lyrata, you need to make sure the fiddle fig leaf tree is put in a high light area. Do not move it, because it doesn't like to be moved around. It will definitely let you know when it's not happy. Ficus lyrata will drop its leaves, and then also you want to make sure you're maintaining consistent watering for that. Now over here, plant folies, a classic easy to care for plant. So we're going to see over here. So this is a Pilea Pan Am. I actually have one of these. Surprised that I've been able to keep it alive, because it is a plant that prefers to be watered quite often. You don't really want the soil to dry out completely. With most Pilea plants, they prefer a higher humidity, but this one, it's doing okay for me, and I'm surprised, but I will take the win. And then plant folies right over here is a hanging basket of some high variegation Epipremnum aureum golden pothos. This is again another pothos plant. This is a plant that everybody needs to add. If you're a plant folie that has been watching my plant shopping videos for at least the last 9 months, please leave in the comments right now if you actually have grown a pothos plant, if you like pothos plant, if you have a pothos plant, or if you plan on getting a pothos plant, because I'm recommending it. Very easy to care for plant. I would recommend it for any beginner or even advanced plant lover. Like this one right here is another hanging basket of a golden pothos, although this is for $16.98. So this one is a little bit pricey. I feel like you can go to Walmart and buy it for $9.97. Same setup. A lot of these plants are sourced out by Costa Farms. I am curious to see if there's some more rare hybrids of pothos plants. If you've ever heard of the Toruno Japanese Pothos series, definitely take a look at that because those pothos are quite expensive. They're over $100 for like a 1-leaf, 1-node cutting. I'm not going to spend that on a pothos plant. Because at the end of the day, pothos plants will reproduce very quickly. You just have to wait on that. But as you can see here, plant foldies, I am just so happy to finally see more pink plants from Costa Farms. Like, look at that leaf and that Aglaonema pink Siam. We've got some more pink philodendron pink princess. I just love pink plants. You can see that there's some more green shield. I can't really say the actual name of that plant, but it is exciting to know that Costa Farms is pushing out more plants, at least this summer. And it's exciting because I really thought in the summertime, big box stores will just start downsizing on plants. So plant foldies, if you enjoyed this video today, please hit the like button. It truly helps me out. I will give you guys some more plant content this weekend. I will be filming some local plant nurseries. I will be uploading finally my collab with Cultivation Corner. As always, this is Richie at Growfold. Subscribe to my channel and I will see you tomorrow evening. Bye.